We're going to talk about doing songs like that before I have to give a talk. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a talk on mindfulness. Some of you were here, and I mentioned that I was beginning that 21-day meditation challenge with Deepak and Oprah. We're on first-name basis. And I was doing it, and I was talking about mindfulness because I was feeling the need to be a little bit more consistent and a little bit more mindful with my mindfulness. I found that I had kind of got a little bit lazy. And besides, the theme for the 21-day meditation was finding your flow. And that just really, it was something that I felt like I really needed to do because it had been a tough couple of months prior to that. So even though I had a pretty good spiritual practice anyway, I decided that I was going to embark upon this 21-day meditation challenge, and I was going to do it with a beginner's mind. You know what I'm talking about? I was going to be consistent with it. I was going to follow the instructions the way they were intended, and then I was going to glean from it what I needed. Little did I know that as a result of doing that, I would learn a spiritual technique that literally changed the way I view the world. And I'm going to tell you guys about it, but first I have to give you a little bit of background information. I've been in ministry for a little bit better than 15 years. And I have given countless talks on everything from creative self-expression to prosperity to mindfulness to discovering your divine self to oneness with everything to changing your thinking and creating a better world for yourself and other people, because that's how I live my life. I am a creative person. I am a prosperous person. I do believe that I am one with God, that I am part of the divine. So those kinds of talks are really easy for me to give. They come very, very naturally to me. But one of the topics that I don't talk about very often is love, which is crazy because love is like the most profound spiritual principle. But when I am being, and I'm being real honest with you guys here today. That song opened me up. When I'm being in my human small self, as opposed to my expanded higher self, I think of love as only being romantic love. I think I get influenced by the media and greeting card companies and everything, and so I only think about love in the sense of passion and romance. And since that seems to elude me these days, I don't feel comfortable trying to pretend like I'm some sort of a spiritual guru about the topic. Now, please don't get me wrong. I have experienced love. I have been in love before. I love my family. I love my cats. I love my friends. I love you guys. So I know a little something about it, but to speak about it as an expert, not so much. So you may be wondering why I'm doing a talk called This Is Love. Well, that's because of this meditation series. In the meditation series, we've been focusing on the 7 chakras, or the energy centers of the body. Y'all know what chakras are, right? Do I need to do an explanation? I'm not going to go too much into that. And the 4th chakra is known as the heart chakra. And it is the energy center of love. Okay, are you with me so far? And think about it. I was watching all of us, and I was watching myself when Amy was singing that song. All of us were holding ourselves here at the heart level, at the heart chakra. This is where we feel love, isn't it? When you think about someone or something you love, don't you feel it here in your heart? Let me share with you what Krishnamurti said. He said, the moment you have in your heart this extraordinary thing called love and feel the depth, the delight, the ecstasy of it, you will discover that for you, the world is transformed. When you hold that in your heart, that love, you find that your world is transformed. And isn't that what we're here? Isn't that what it's all about? We are interested in transformation, yes? Yes. Can I get an amen? Yes. So each day of this meditation challenge, Deepak gives a brief little talk before we actually go into the meditation. And on this particular day I'm talking about, he spoke about the importance of being aware of love in all of its intensities and flavors. And those were the words he used, intensities and flavors. For instance, he talked about how love at first sight, how infatuation is that intense flavor of love, right? But that love comes in so many different flavors. And here are the ones that he talked about specifically. A flavor of love is appreciation, gratitude, enjoyment, affection, romance, and personal attraction. And they vary in intensity, don't they? But have you ever thought about the fact that that appreciation is actually a flavor or an aspect of love? So what he encouraged us to do in this little talk that he gave was to bring our awareness to the times that we felt and experienced any of those flavors of love, and to affirm, this is love. He said, if you're sitting outside and you're appreciating how lovely the morning is, even with 8 inches of snow, say, this is love. If you have a wonderful chat on the phone with someone you haven't talked to for a while, and your heart is opened and expanded, think to yourself, this is love. It's a really, really simple act. And yet it increases our awareness of love in all of its flavors. And as our awareness of love increases, so do our experiences of love in all its flavors increases. He quoted that wonderful quote by Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself you have built against it. I'm going to let that one sink in. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself you have built against it. So when we view love from that aspect, it is everywhere. It is in everything. And we just need to learn to train ourselves, to allow ourselves to recognize it. So I decided that I was going to give this a shot. It sounded pretty good to me. So the day that I heard about the technique of saying this is love to everything, I was heading out to Canmore, this was a couple of weeks ago, for a little mini retreat. I got to tell you guys, you know, I have to go on these little trips and these little vacations and stuff, you know, so that I can stay filled up, so that I can share it with you. So I take vacations for you. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. It's tough, but somebody has to do it. So you know how pretty the drive is going out to Canmore, right? So every time I saw something on the drive out there that delighted me, like a pond, or like the rolling foothills, or the first glimpse of those mountains, you know what I'm talking about? I said to myself, this is love. This is love. But I took it one step further. I said, ooh, I'm getting a little choked up thinking about this. This is how the divine is showing up as love for me. This is one of the ways that spirit clothes itself as love in my life in this moment. So even though it isn't clothing itself as my dream man walking into my life yet, at this moment, it is still love. It is real, it is tangible, it It is something that I can see and feel and experience. So let me share with you what Ernest Holmes said. Incidentally, that's a picture that I took of probably the three sisters. That was actually last fall. It's Deluska? I don't know what you're saying, so I'm going to hear it afterwards. Okay. Because I have to tell you what Ernest Holmes said instead. Spirit is in every living thing, is in every soul, simply waiting to be brought forth and come through the avenue we express. It is to bring out these great realities of life and happiness, health, love, and power, to supply these things that makes life worthwhile. It's why spirit, it's how spirit expresses through us, and it is how we experience spirit. So to continue with my story, because I started my day off like this, absolutely everything and everyone around me was just the essence of love. So part of my sacrifice of going on these little trips for you all was that I had made a massage and a facial appointment at one of the spas in Canmore. Well, not only was the spa very pretty, but it was also the appointments that I had, both of them, the massage and the facial, were absolutely amazing. I don't know if it's because I was just in the right place at the right time or what. Both of these therapists were of like mind. So not only was I getting this amazing massage and this amazing facial, but I was also getting filled up spiritually because they were spiritual people. So I was interacting with these expressions of love. And as they were working on me, I kept thinking, this is love. This is love. So the question is, did I just get lucky and I just found these two really great body workers who exemplified love? Or was it that my energy attracted the right and perfect people because I had expanded my awareness of love? Bingo is right. So let me share with you another thing that Ernest Holmes said. This is one of my all-time favorite quotes from Holmes. He said, "Today I bestow the essence of love upon everything. Everyone shall be lovely to me. My soul meets the soul of the universe in everyone. Everything is beautiful. Everything is meaningful. I know that this love essence is the very substance of life, the creative principle back of everything, flowing through my whole being, spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical. It flows in transcendent loveliness into my world of thought and form, ever renewing, vitalizing, bringing joy, harmony, and blessing to everything and everyone it touches." We're going to go like this. So by choosing to see love all that day, I couldn't help but attract it to me. And it followed me throughout the day, at the grocery store, at the gal who checked me into the timeshare, at the yoga class that I attended with this gorgeous picture window of the Three Sisters Mountains. Even the shrieking kids in the pool right next to my room were expressions of love, because I choose to see them that way. Yeah? Now this would be a fun little story if it ended right there, but there was more love to come my way the next day. I had made arrangements to have lunch with Jennifer and Jason Owens. They were vacationing in Banff too. Were you doing it for your congregation as well? Yeah. So we were going to meet in Banff for lunch. But I left a couple of hours early because I wanted to do some exploring along that loop that goes around, that goes to Lake Minnewanka. You know what I'm talking about? So if you're going into Banff and you turn left and you go to the city and you turn right and you go to this loop to Lake Minnewanka, you know about that, right? When my sisters and I had been here 10 years ago, we just happened upon it. We had these incredible animal sightings, right? So I wanted to see if I could find me some critters, because that makes me happy whenever I can find some critters, right? So I'm driving along and I'm affirming this is love in appreciation for all of this beauty that I'm seeing around me, and I happen upon some mule deer that were grazing by the side of the road. So I pulled over, there's nobody else on the road, and I just sat watching them for a while. And I was filled with such a sense of gratitude and appreciation to be able to see wild animals in their natural habitat. It wasn't a zoo. They were really there. That's where they live. It was mind-blowing. So after a while, watched the deer and decided to keep on driving because it's a pretty good sized loop. And as I passed Lake Minnewanka, I saw a group of long-haired sheep. Oh, excuse me, not long-haired, long-horned sheep. I think they look like goats, but everybody tells me they even got those little weird goat eyes, you know, those things. Okay, well, anyway, they're sheep, apparently, right? So, of course, I pulled over to the side of the road to watch them. And I'm thrilled. I'm having this up-close and personal encounter with a bunch of sheep goats. And I'm repeating to myself, swear to God, folks, I'm repeating to myself, this is love. This is love. And then all of a sudden, a couple of them started walking over to my car. I didn't know exactly what to make of that. But I realized that they were attracted to the salt on my car. And pretty soon, several more came over. And all of a sudden, I'm surrounded by these sheep, and they're licking my car. I mean, seriously. Now, I realize that this sort of demonstration may not be everybody's cup of tea, right? But I'm an animal lover, so I'm thrilled. I am absolutely thrilled. Here I am affirming this is love about everything in my life, and love shows up in the form of a bunch of wild sheep licking my car. Here's what George Washington Carver said. See their little weird eyes? I'm sorry. He said, I love to think of nature as an unlimited broadcasting station through which God speaks to us every hour if we will only tune in. Right? I even have pictures, not of my dirty car, but of the lick marks on my dirty car to remind myself of this incredible adventure. It was amazing. It was amazing. So, you may be wondering, especially you new people, it's usually like this. I'm sorry, this is what we do. You may be asking, what's the moral of the story here? Well, the moral, of course, is that love shows up for us in so many forms, in so many flavors. It's not just an emotion that was made up by greeting card companies and novel writers and movie makers. Love is spirit, manifest in form. It is real, it is tangible, and it is available to us when we choose to see it, when we choose to recognize it, when we choose to be grateful for it. In fact, we can even see it in the snow on the ground in May. Everybody think about the snow right now, and then say, this is love. This is love. Say it like you mean it. We're going to actually practice a little bit. So Mark, this would be the noodling time. I'm going to ask Mark to come up. I'm going to ask you to put your hand on your heart chakra, right here. And close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If it's not, I've got a pretty picture for you to look at. I want you to bring to mind someone or something that you feel appreciation or gratitude for. And as you picture them or feel their presence or remember their essence, say to yourself, this is love. This is how the divine clothes itself in form for me. And now bring to mind something or someone else that you feel gratitude or appreciation for. And do it again. This is love. This is God in expression as love. And now one more time, bring to mind something or someone you feel appreciation or gratitude, something you enjoy, something that makes you feel passionate, or someone who makes you feel passionate. And say, this is love. This is how I know love. And now slowly open your eyes. Look around the room and think, this is love. So let's go within, shall we? And as we have connected to that essence of love within, and we have affirmed it by bringing to mind someone or something that we feel love for, that we feel appreciation for, or gratitude, or passion. We recognize that we would not be able to know love unless it was already within us, already part of who we are. We are part of the divine. We are part of the all and everything, and it expresses in our lives in a myriad of ways, including the flavors of love. And so what I know for each of us is that we continue the practice throughout this day, throughout this week, throughout our lifetimes, of when we feel that sense of gratitude or appreciation or passion or enjoyment or admiration, that we think to ourselves, this is love. This is love. And we just watch as our world does indeed transform because of our openness to see what is there in front of us. And so it is with a sense of deep gratitude and love that I release this treatment into the law, knowing that this is so, as together we affirm. And so it is.